Confidence is not the loudest man in the room trying to prove himself, nor is it the one flexing his possessions to get attention. True confidence is subtle, magnetic, and undeniable. It is the way you walk into a space without needing validation, the way you speak without rushing your words, and the way you allow silence to rest comfortably in your presence. A woman can sense this kind of energy immediately because confidence communicates safety, leadership, and strength. It tells her without words that you are in control of yourself, and that being around you will not be chaotic or unpredictable. This is why confidence is often the first doorway that opens attraction, and why, in many cases, it is the most powerful element that determines how far intimacy can go. Even within the first day, when a man lacks confidence, it shows in everything he does. It shows in the way he fidgets with his phone when he feels nervous, the way he avoids eye contact when speaking, or the way his laughter feels forced because he is seeking approval. Women are highly intuitive beings, and they can sense insecurity before a man even realizes he is displaying it. The absence of confidence triggers hesitation in her because it signals instability, and no woman wants to give herself to a man who cannot stand grounded in his own skin. But when a man walks in and his aura communicates assurance without him saying a single word, she feels something shift inside her. She becomes curious. She wants to know more, and most importantly, she begins to feel drawn toward him. The beauty of confidence is that it does not have to be loud to be effective. You don't need to speak 1,000 words to prove you belong somewhere. Sometimes it is in the way you enter a room, shoulders back, steady steps, head held high, and a calm demeanor that shows you are not seeking anyone's approval. Women pay attention to these subtle signals more than men realize. It's not about being the center of attention, but about owning your presence wherever you are. When she sees a man who appears centered, she subconsciously associates him with stability. That stability is what allows her to let down her guard, and that is where attraction begins to grow. Confidence also speaks through your body language. Think of how powerful it is when a man looks directly into a woman's eyes without flinching, but not in an aggressive or intimidating way, but in a calm and intentional manner. That kind of gaze communicates belief in oneself, and it sends a silent message that says, "I am here, I see you, and I am not afraid." Compare that to the man who avoids eye contact, who looks down, or who stares too intensely because he doesn't know how to balance his energy. The first man is magnetic because he knows himself. The second man pushes her away because he makes her feel uneasy. Another layer of confidence that women find irresistible is in how a man speaks. The tone of your voice, the pace of your words, and your ability to listen all tie back to confidence. A man who speaks too fast, cutting across his own sentences, shows nervousness. A man who constantly seeks to dominate the conversation reveals insecurity disguised as strength. But a man who speaks with calmness, clarity, and certainly makes her want to lean in. He makes her want to hear more because his energy is grounded. He doesn't need to prove he's worthy of her attention. His presence alone demands it. Confidence also shows in how you treat yourself. Women notice when a man takes care of his appearance, when he dresses with intention, and when he carries himself with dignity. This doesn't mean you need to wear expensive clothes or flaunt designer brands. It means you value yourself enough to present yourself well. The way you look and the way you smell create an impression before you even open your mouth. When you align these external signals with internal assurance, you create a powerful presence that makes her feel like she is in the company of someone who knows his worth. What many men overlook is that confidence is not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or always having the right answers. Women don't fall for flawless men. They fall for men who own who they are. Even your flaws, when embraced with honesty, can become part of your strength. When you stand firm in your identity, acknowledging your imperfections without letting them shake your spirit, you become relatable and trustworthy. This is the kind of confidence that melts her defenses because it shows authenticity. Finally, confidence is not just how you see yourself, but how you make her feel in your presence. A confident man doesn't belittle or try to overshadow a woman. Instead, his energy uplifts. He makes her feel valued, heard, and respected without even trying too hard. When she feels that, she relaxes, and when she relaxes, attraction takes root much faster than most men expect. That is why confidence, silent yet powerful, can make the difference between being forgotten and becoming unforgettable. For a woman, intimacy is not just a physical act, it is an emotional decision. Long before she considers whether she wants to be with a man in that way, she is asking herself a silent question. Do I feel safe with him? Emotional safety is the invisible bridge that allows her to cross over from guardedness into openness. Without it, she will hold back, no matter how charming or attractive you may appear. With it, however, she can let down her walls quickly, sometimes even within hours of meeting you, because she feels secure in your presence. Emotional safety is created not by what you buy for her or the flashy things you show off, but by the way you interact with her on a deeper level. When she speaks, are you really listening, or are you waiting for your turn to talk? When she shares something vulnerable, do you laugh it off, or do you acknowledge her feelings? These little moments are where trust is built, and trust is the foundation upon which intimacy rests. If she senses that she can speak freely without being judged, criticized, or mocked, she begins to associate you with comfort. And when a woman feels comfortable, her guard comes down and her willingness to connect grows stronger. The mistake many men make is believing that emotional safety means being passive or overly agreeable. It is not about nodding at everything she says or avoiding conflict just to keep her happy. True emotional safety is about consistency, reliability, and respect. When your actions match your words, when you say you will do something and you actually follow through, she begins to feel she can count on you. This consistency builds a sense of stability that is very attractive because it shows her you are not unpredictable. Unpredictability breeds caution, but stability breeds trust. Another part of emotional safety lies in how you handle her boundaries. Women test boundaries not because they want to frustrate you, but because they want to see how you will respond. If you push too hard, ignore her limits, or make her feel guilty for saying no, she will close herself off. But when you respect her pace, when you let her know that her choices are valued and that she is not under pressure, you give her the freedom to lean into you willingly. The paradox is that by not forcing intimacy, you actually invite it faster, because she feels safe enough to choose it on her own terms. Emotional safety is also created through presence. When you are with her, are you fully with her, or is your attention scattered? Do you keep checking your phone, looking around the room, or making her feel like she is just one of many? Or do you lean in, maintain eye contact, and make her feel like the center of your world in that moment? Presence is rare in today's distracted society, and when a woman experiences it, she feels valued. Feeling valued makes her feel secure, and that security makes her want to open up to you in ways that go beyond conversation. There is also the layer of emotional regulation. Women pay attention to how a man handles stress, setbacks, or disagreements. If you explode at minor inconveniences, lash out when things don't go your way, or let your emotions control you, she will not feel safe around you. But when you remain calm under pressure, when you address conflict without aggression, and when you show that you can manage your emotions maturely, she sees you as a safe space rather than a source of instability. That kind of energy makes her feel she can relax around you, knowing she won't have to carry the weight of constant drama. Humor, when used right, is another way to build emotional safety. Making her laugh without being offensive or belittling shows her that you are not only confident but also considerate. Laughter breaks down barriers and it makes her feel at ease. But beyond humor, empathy is the real glue that seals emotional safety. When she tells you about her experiences, whether big or small, and you respond with understanding rather than dismissiveness, you show her that you care. Care is powerful because it tells her she is not just another option, but someone whose feelings matter to you. Above all, emotional safety is about creating an environment where she feels she can be herself. Many women put on a mask in social situations, showing only the parts of themselves they believe are acceptable. But when she is with a man who makes her feel like she can drop that mask, who accepts her quirks, flaws, and truths without judgment, she feels liberated. And liberation is intoxicating. It is this very sense of emotional freedom that makes her want to give herself fully, because she no longer feels the need to protect herself from being hurt or misunderstood. When it comes to intimacy, many men believe it starts with physical attraction. But in reality, for a woman, it begins long before that. Attraction may catch her attention, but connection is what captures her heart and dissolves her hesitation. Genuine connection is powerful because it makes her feel seen, not just looked at. It makes her feel valued, not just desired. And when she feels that level of recognition, she naturally becomes more open, both emotionally and physically. A genuine connection begins with authenticity. Too many men approach women with masks on, pretending to be someone they are not, thinking that is what will impress her. But a woman can sense when a man is not being real. She notices when his words do not align with his energy, when his compliments feel rehearsed, or when his stories sound exaggerated. Pretending to be someone else might spark temporary interest, but it cannot build lasting attraction. What truly draws her in is when you show up as yourself, unapologetically and consistently. When you speak honestly, when your laughter is natural, and when your presence is genuine, you allow her to relax and let her guard down. That openness is the beginning of connection. Listening plays an essential role in creating this bond. Women notice how you listen. Do you interrupt her, rush to finish her sentences, or steer the conversation back to yourself? Or do you take the time to actually hear her words, to feel her emotions, and to respond in a way that shows you care? When you listen with intent, she feels respected. She feels like what she has to say matters. This feeling is rare, and because it is rare, it becomes incredibly attractive. A man who listens deeply sets himself apart from the ones who only talk about themselves. That simple act of attention can be the difference between being a stranger and becoming someone she wants to get closer to. Connection also thrives in vulnerability. Many men are afraid to open up, thinking that showing emotions will make them appear weak. But the truth is, vulnerability builds trust. When you are willing to share your story, your challenges, and even your failures without shame, you communicate strength. It shows her that you are confident enough to be real. This kind of honesty invites her to open up as well, creating a mutual bond where both of you feel safe to be yourselves. And in that mutual exchange, intimacy naturally deepens. Shared experiences create another layer of connection. When you laugh together over something silly, when you discover a mutual interest, or when you create a memory that belongs only to the two of you, the connection grows stronger. These shared moments build a foundation that makes her feel like you are on the same wavelength. It's not just about the words exchanged, but the emotions shared in those moments. That feeling of being aligned with someone is powerful, and it often leads her to desire more closeness with you. Body language is another silent tool that strengthens connection. A genuine smile, steady but warm eye contact, and relaxed posture speak louder than any words. These unspoken cues tell her that you are present and sincere. When she feels that your energy matches your words, she begins to trust you without needing proof. On the other hand, forced gestures, nervous fidgeting, or insincere compliments can weaken the connection. She may not always articulate it, but she can feel it. Connection is not something you can fake. It has to flow naturally from who you are. What amplifies a genuine connection is the way you make her feel when she is around you. If she feels lighter, happier, and more comfortable in your presence, she will crave more of that energy. If she feels tense, judged, or drained, she will pull away no matter how attractive you may be. This is why connection is about creating an emotional atmosphere that draws her in. When she feels uplifted by your presence, she begins to associate you with positive emotions, and that association deepens her attraction to you. Another aspect of connection is curiosity. Showing genuine interest in her life, her thoughts, and her dreams makes her feel important. Ask her questions that go beyond the surface, questions that invite her to share who she really is. And when she answers, engage with her truth instead of brushing it off. This kind of curiosity shows that you are not just trying to impress her, but that you actually care about understanding her. The more she feels understood, the more she feels connected, and the more open she becomes. At its core, the power of genuine connection lies in the balance of giving and receiving. It is not about one person dominating the conversation or the energy. It is about creating a flow where both of you feel equally invested. When she feels that balance, she feels safe, valued, and desired in a way that goes beyond the physical. And once she experiences that kind of connection, she does not want to let it go because it is rare and it makes intimacy with you feel natural and inevitable. Masculine energy is not about dominance, aggression, or control. It is about direction, purpose, and certainty. It is the steady force that creates polarity with feminine energy. And that polarity is what fuels attraction. When a man steps into his masculine energy, he does not need to announce it or prove it. It is felt in the way he moves, the way he makes decisions, and the way he creates an environment where a woman feels both drawn to him and safe around him. Leading with masculine energy is one of the most attractive qualities you can embody because it communicates that you know who you are and where you are going. Women are naturally responsive to energy. They are tuned into how a man shows up, not just what he says. When a man operates from uncertainty, hesitation, or passivity, she senses it immediately. It creates confusion and weakens her trust in him. On the other hand, when a man knows what he wants, takes initiative, and moves with confidence, she relaxes into her femininity. This does not mean you have to control everything or make every decision, but it does mean you set the tone. You provide the structure, and she flows within it. That dynamic is magnetic because it aligns with the natural balance of masculine and feminine energies. Taking initiative is one of the clearest expressions of masculine energy. It can be as simple as choosing a place for dinner, instead of endlessly asking her what she wants, or as meaningful as guiding the direction of a conversation with purpose and clarity. Women appreciate when a man makes decisions because it shows leadership, Leadership, in this sense, does not mean controlling her choices, but creating an experience where she feels taken care of. When you plan, when you prepare, when you step into moments with certainty, you communicate that she can trust you to lead. That trust becomes the bridge to intimacy, because she feels secure surrendering to the experience with you. Masculine energy also shows up in how you handle challenges. Life will always bring obstacles, but how you respond to them determines how she perceives you. If you panic, complain, or crumble under pressure, she cannot fully trust your leadership. But when you face difficulties with resilience, when you remain calm under pressure and look for solutions instead of problems, you show her that you are a source of stability. Stability is deeply attractive because it signals to her that being with you means she does not have to carry the weight of uncertainty alone. It allows her to relax, and relaxation is what opens the door to deeper connection. Another layer of masculine energy is presence. Presence is about being fully in the moment, not distracted, not scattered, but grounded. When you are with her, she feels your attention, your focus, and your energy directed toward her. Presence creates intimacy without words, because it tells her that she matters. It tells her that nothing else in the world is more important than that moment with her. Feminine energy thrives in the presence of focused masculine energy, and when you give her that, she responds with openness. Masculine energy also requires clarity of purpose. A man who knows where he is going in life is naturally attractive, because purpose communicates direction. Direction communicates security. Women want to align with men who have vision because vision creates certainty. This does not mean you need to have everything figured out or be at the top of your game, but it does mean you are moving forward with intention. When you are pursuing growth, when you are chasing your goals, when you have a clear sense of mission, she feels inspired by your drive. That inspiration makes her want to be a part of your journey. Polarity between masculine and feminine energy is heightened by the way you lead physically as well. This can be subtle, like guiding her with your hand on her back when walking through a crowded space, or taking the initiative to start physical closeness with confidence and respect. These small gestures communicate that you are willing to lead without hesitation. They are signals of strength and intention, and they invite her to respond with softness and receptivity. Confidence in leadership does not mean ignoring her input or overriding her desires. True masculine energy values and respects the feminine. It listens, it considers, and it creates space for her to express herself fully. But after listening, it also moves forward decisively. Women admire decisiveness because it shows that you can take information, weigh it, and then lead with certainty. Indecision creates doubt, but clarity creates attraction. Ultimately, leading with masculine energy is about embodying certainty, presence, and purpose. It is about creating a dynamic where she feels safe to surrender, safe to trust, and safe to explore deeper levels of connection with you. When you bring this energy into every interaction, you naturally become the man she feels drawn to, the one she can let go with, and the one she desires to be close to without hesitation. Desire is not something that just happens out of nowhere. It is cultivated, nurtured, and built through intention. Many men rush into trying to create intimacy without understanding that the journey is what makes the destination powerful. For a woman, desire grows in the space between anticipation and fulfillment. It is in the moments where you are close enough to feel her presence, but not too close to take it all at once. That tension, when created skillfully, is what makes her want to lean into you and open herself up. Building tension and desire is an art, and when mastered, it makes intimacy happen naturally, even in the shortest span of time. One of the strongest ways to build desire is through eye contact. The way you look at her communicates far more than words ever could. A steady, intentional gaze tells her that you see her, that you are present, and that you are confident enough to hold that space with her. The pause before you look away, the subtle smile that lingers at the corner of your lips, the warmth in your eyes, all of these things create an unspoken dialogue. She begins to feel not just seen, but wanted, and in that moment, desire quietly takes root. Physical closeness is another layer of building tension. It is not about rushing into her space, but about gradually closing the gap. When you sit next to her, the slight brush of your arm against hers, the accidental touch of hands, or the way your presence lingers near her creates